Hey, how's it going? So what the fuck are we doing today? I showed you this impeller the other day. In here it was a little bit more tip just at the end. Still got a bit of it in there. So I'm going to go through and, well, apart from that actually, I've done me little black sun fish effect just to pick up motion. But we've gone a little bit further than that. On the inside here, the edge effect. It's an amazing little thing. This tiny little edge, the bevel, depending on where that is, affects how it flows. So it's every tiny little thing on these things. And with that in mind, I was sussing this. This is how it was. I'll just piss that off for a minute. This is how I had, and I've already tested like this. Now the bevel from when we move the blade forward is actually on this side. So there's a tiny little bevel on this side here. And as you can see, when you touch it, it's actually giving a stopping effect to the turbine. When I ran this one in the car, planting it, you weren't actually going anywhere, it was revving off its tits. So that effect is doing what it does. It's allowing it to go high still, but we don't necessarily want the way it was reacting because it wasn't very nice. So I've been getting into it just on a few here where I've corrected the bevel or the edge to be this way. So now the fluid interacting with that edge is definitely pushing a lot more than this edge. So on that one, that edge was pushing more than this edge. Alright, so we're going to accelerate quicker. It should at the same time be falling that way, you would think. You know, a lot of these things are pretty obvious, but that's what we're looking at. Well, we'll see when we put it in the car. That's what it's all about. But and there's hundreds of options going on with these things. You know, I was even thinking we could have, because this one does give an effect. So if you want to change characteristics, say have one like that and one like this, and then go back to the other. And, you know, very minor changes can cause big effects. It's just a force point. It's a point of force. Yep. How deep can we go? Lots of interesting things. To me anyway. Maybe to you. Out here could actually be acting as like a bypass fan on a jet engine. So the fluid over here is actually encapsulating and just rushing over, as well as driving the turbulence in the annular through the rush, because between this annular and the one on the impeller side there is a gap. So you'd think that would get it rushing. But, yeah. I was thinking to even try it just with the standard stator. This one is a bit more open. There's some more other interesting things with edges that we're looking at. Because of these blades here. Where do we go? See that edge there? Because of how that's shaped. Yeah, so sort of. That was straight off the plasma cut anyway. So I can touch them up either any way. And, give it a higher stall or not. give it a higher stall, we'd actually put a bevel on here so the fluid rushing over this edge, the fluid rushing over that edge turns on the blade. But I'm actually trying it the other way. I want the stator to go into a lock position. I'm thinking it will increase the fall in effect that I'm after if the stator's locked rather than if the stator's running. But then again, we'll even though this is being driven, that's why I've got to lock on the other side as it comes back to the impeller. Definitely has an effect. Edges, what way they go, how it moves, the fluid interacts with it. This one, same again, it's straight off the plasma cutter, so it's actually got a slight radius to it, and it feels like it's going to be pushing this way, which for the stator is locking it into the sprag, which is going to help with the leverage, as I said before. And just for this one, same thing. I've actually got a pretty open angle in here, really. It's definitely a bigger flow than standard. Yeah. Nice bit of angle, but I've actually, because I'm coming back this way, as you can see, it's pushing it back into its lock position, which, as I said, I'm looking at being better. But I'd also think, I'll just put this one back in here. They're coming straight off. We're actually straight onto here anyway, so that will be a nice effect for stall, because it is really stall, or increasing the stall. So this one, we've got this effect here, so it's non-restricted flow, but with see, this side of the blade, it's not doing anything. This side of the blade, so I'm actually leaning against it back here with my belly slightly, so it gives a bit of resistance, but you can see it's trying to push it, whereas this side, there's nothing. Same as I'm still leaning on it to draw my finger through. You probably can't see it properly, but slight dip in the blade, just hidden. Slight dip in the blade. Through here. Just helps impart the weight of the fluid onto the engine side. So it's an assistance. Whereas the normal cup blade, when it's fully cupped, it's actually a hold back against the flow, which loads the engine. So doing these things unloads the engine and allows it to let loose. I've also kept tweaking it, very slight, but maybe even be in the 4 degrees range actually on there, straight on here. Yep. Alright, so the little things count.